So in the spirit of Christmas, I have decided to start a playlist called the 12 Days of Do-It-Yourself Christmas Gifts. And with that being said, if you are a member of my family, please stop watching now. Otherwise, your gifts will likely be revealed. So I like to get a jump start on Christmas early. It is literally Halloween today, and I'm probably 30% done with my Christmas gifts for the year. But I do that because I've got kids now, and I make the goal for myself to have all of our Christmas shopping and wrapping done by Thanksgiving, and that way, for the month of December, I can really just spend my time with my kids enjoying the holiday season and not worrying about crowds at the mall or wrapping last minute and anything like that. So with do-it-yourself Christmas gifts, one thing that I feel like a lot of do-it-yourselfers forget is that you really need to try and stay in budget. Otherwise, there's no sense in making things yourself and not just going to the store and dropping hundreds of dollars. So with every video that I make on this playlist, I'm going to break down the cost of each gift that I make. And one of the things that I really try to do as a do-it-yourselfer is to utilize things that I already have. So because I own my own small business, I have a lot of things for packaging already, and I don't need to spend money on them, which is a huge plus. So let's get started. The first gift of the series is, it's going to be sample tea boxes. A lot of people in my family, including myself, are big tea lovers. So I really like this gift because someone doesn't have to just go to the store, buy a huge box of tea, only to find out that, maybe they don't like it. It's also relatively inexpensive. And as a witch, I really love tea. Herbs are some of the main ingredients in a lot of spells and rituals. Different herbs can provide different kind of energies for the body and the mind. So, with that being said, I did not spell any of these teas that I'm gifting, and they really are mainly useless in the world of divination without an intention or a ritual attached to them. So tea is obviously still good for your body, it's still good for your mind, but not in the witch's sense without those things. So I've actually got a box right here. This is the size and shape of the box that I'm gifting. Inside, there are 5 different kinds of tea, all individually wrapped. And I made a list of ingredients, the ingredients that is in each kind of tea, just for allergy purposes. And where I get my tea is from my local healthy living market. They have a counter full of containers of loose tea, and you can literally just take a container, pour it into a bag. They charge you per ounce for the different kinds of tea. It's usually around $2.50 per ounce. And I think that's definitely the cheapest way possible to get a big variety of tea on a smaller budget. So I did that. I got 5 different kinds of tea, paid for all of that, and then I individually measured out every single tea bag, wrapped up a tea bag, and then labeled it accordingly. And this video is going to show you exactly how you can do the same and gift someone their own tea sample box. So let's get to it. Here are the materials that you need for this project. Feel free to screenshot. So the first thing you're going to do is gather your loose tea. For each cup of tea, you need approximately 1 teaspoon of loose tea per bag. The first tea I'm making is a lavender chamomile tea. And then you're going to grab a coffee filter. You can use either coffee filters or store-bought empty tea bags. I will link those in the description. You can easily buy those, but I already had coffee filters on hand, so I figured I'd use them. And here you see me measuring out 1 teaspoon of loose tea into the coffee filter. And what you're going to do is lay it down flat and fold it in half. And then you're going to fold the top up towards you about 3 times. You really just want to make sure that the seam is closed so that no tea can get out. And then what you're going to do is lay it down flat and bring that seam into the middle like this. And then fold it in half long ways and try and get the tea to go down towards the bottom like a regular tea bag would. And then you're going to fold the top down twice and then both sides in to make the top come to a point. Next, you're going to grab a piece of string. This is just string I had on hand, nothing fancy. Cut approximately 4 to 5 inches long, just enough to, hold the tea in the bag or hold the tea in the cup, and the end drapes over the side to hold the end out of the cup. And then you're going to staple the string to the top of the tea bag. You want to make sure that when you staple the string, you're closing both flaps of the triangle at the top, so no tea can escape through the top. And I'm going to do it again for you. One heaping teaspoon into the coffee filter or your tea bag. Fold it in half. Fold the top down, closing the coffee filter. Rotate it so the seam is on top. And then fold in half long ways. Gather all the tea down at the bottom and fold the top down twice, and then the sides in together to make a point. Then cut your string and staple to the top, securing the top of the bag. There you go. And you're just going to repeat this process for however many tea bags you feel like making. I personally did 5 different kinds of tea per box and 15 boxes. You can skip this entire step if you buy the store-bought tea bags, which is definitely easier, but for economic purposes and environmental purposes, I just used what I already had, which was coffee filters. So the next step that we're going to be doing is adding tags to the other end of the string. I have a Munbin printer at home, a thermal printer. So what I did was printed out stickers that I designed on Canva, which just say the name of the tea and the kind of tea it is. So for this, I just put lavender chamomile herbal tea. I printed out 15 of those. And then I am sticking them to a piece of cardstock. On one side, the cardstock is white, and the other side, it's a pretty silver color. I just think it adds a little bit more flair, and that way people know exactly what kind of tea they have. So once I have them all stuck to the cardstock, I am going to cut out each one individually. Since these are small, I find it easier to use scissors than a slicer. and just continue going until you have them all cut out individually. And then you're going to take your tea bag and your tag. See how it's shiny on the one side? And you're going to lay the string over the top of it. Try not to cover up the words though. And then staple that to it. And there you go, a labeled tea bag. And then we're just going to repeat this process for every single tea bag that we have. Next, you want to put your tea bag into some kind of Ziploc bag. That way it holds its quality and air or moisture doesn't get to it. So these are just baggies that I already had on hand, but I'll link some in the description of this as well. And I like to make sure that the tag is showing so that way my family members can see what kind of tea it is just by looking at the bag. They don't have to actually take it out. And there you have it. And again, just repeat this process for every single tea bag. And this is the end result. I absolutely love how these came out, and I can't wait to give them to my family members. So the next thing I'm going to show you is how I box them up. These are boxes from Uline that I just have on hand for my business. So you'll see me fold it up. I don't recall the size of these boxes. I think they're 3 by 5 by 2. And then I just place each packet of tea in there. There you have all 5. They fit perfectly into this box. And then this is just a detailed ingredient sheet that I made on Canva and printed out to put in each box for allergy purposes. It's got each kind of tea as well as every ingredient in each tea. The next thing I'm going to do is break down the cost for you. This is the app Fill It, which I use for everything. What you're going to do is add in the ingredient. I'm just going to write in tea and from Healthy Living, which is where I get it from. You can add in different suppliers, and the average tea cost is about $2.50 per ounce. And then you're going to go to recipes, add a new recipe, and I'm just going to write tea bag. Add ingredient. Search for the ingredient that you just put in. And each tea bag is approximately 4 grams. So it comes out to 35 cents per bag of tea. So since this is the only ingredient I needed to purchase and everything else I had on hand, this is the only ingredient in the recipe. Now I'm going to figure out the total cost. So 35 cents times 5 bags of tea per box is $1.75. I made 15 boxes of tea, so I will multiply that by 15. And I get a grand total of $26.25. I hope you guys enjoyed that project, and I will see you next week for another episode.